When I first started investing, I thought I had cracked the code. Everywhere I looked, people were showcasing screenshots of high yields, strong payouts, weekly dividends, and passive income streams that seemed almost too good to be true. And like many beginners, I bought into the hype. I put my money into funds that promised strong income flow, thinking I had outsmarted the market. But here's the reality I learned the hard way. Chasing high yields without understanding the risks is like building a house on sand. It looks stable until the storm arrives. Yes, the payouts came in, but so did the losses. My account balance was shrinking while I was holding on to a handful of dividend ETF. And what really caught me off guard was liquidity, something as simple as being able to enter or exit an investment at a fair price. I had underestimated how much that could impact me. I guess most people don't know how important liquidity is in ETF investing. That one mistake was costly, but it also became the turning point. It forced me to rethink my strategy, research more, and rebuild with a stronger foundation. Instead of asking myself, what pays the most? I started asking better questions like, which ETF are liquid enough that I can move in and out with confidence? Which ones consistently perform when compared to the S&P 500? Where's the right balance between growth potential and risk management? And perhaps most overlooked, what am I really paying in fees? That's when I discovered 4 ETF that weren't being hyped all over the place, but quietly delivering results. They didn't try to grab attention with flashy, unsustainable yields. Instead, they focused on consistency. They simply worked. What I'm about to share isn't theory. It's a strategy I've personally followed for the last 5 years, and it's the framework that's helped me grow consistently while steering clear of the mistakes I made at the start. And if you stick with me until the end, I have something interesting to show you that ties everything together, something you'll definitely want to see. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm sharing my personal experience and opinions, not financial advice. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Always do your own research and consider consulting with a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Let's dive in. Picture this for a second. You're walking through the market. One vendor is shouting, "Come here. Buy my strawberries. They're the biggest, juiciest, and they're pretty cheap." So you rush over, fill your basket, and walk home feeling proud of your deal. But when you bite into them, they're watery, bland, and by the next day, they're already going bad. Meanwhile, there's another vendor quietly selling strawberries at a fair price. No flashy signs, no shouting. But when you taste them, they're sweet, fresh, and they last for days. That's the difference between chasing yield traps and choosing quality ETF. Think of an ETF like a basket of fruit. Instead of buying just one fruit at the market, you're getting a mix: apples, oranges, bananas, and more. If one fruit goes bad, you still have the rest. It's a safer, more balanced way to shop. Now, the S&P 500, the one you always hear about, is like the giant family fruit basket. It's got 500 different fruits, a little bit of everything. Big, reliable, and steady. But here's where it gets interesting. The 4 ETF I'm about to share with you are like smaller baskets that specialize in certain fruits. They're not as mixed as the giant basket, but if you choose carefully, they can sometimes be sweeter, fresher, and even grow faster than the family basket. Before I dive into the 4 ETF, there's something I wish I had taken seriously much earlier. Fees. Most people overlook them, but fees matter far more than you probably realize. Back then, I used to brush off expense ratios. I'd think, what's 0.5% here or 1% there? If my portfolio was growing anyway, who cares? But here's the truth. Even what looks like a small difference in fees can quietly eat returns. Over time, those higher fees can cost you a big chunk of your potential growth. And that's if the high fee fund even manages to keep up with the performance of the lower fee one. That's why expense ratios became one of my non-negotiables. I stopped ignoring them and started searching for ETF that could deliver solid performance without bleeding me through fees. Here's the lesson I had to learn the hard way before I found these 4 ETF. Imagine you're at a market trying to sell something valuable, but the only buyers there are offering steep discounts. You can't walk away unless you accept far less than you wanted. That's exactly what low liquidity feels like in investing. Years ago, I found myself in that position with a high-yield ETF. On paper, it looked amazing, advertising steady annual growth. The marketing materials were polished, the name had a nice ring to it, and it felt like I had found a hidden gem. But when the market dipped and I tried to rebalance, I discovered the ugly truth. The bid-ask spread was high. What should have been a simple trade turned into a nightmare. I couldn't exit without giving away a chunk of my capital through spreads and slippage. It was like being stuck in quicksand. Every move I made cost me more. That's when it hit me. Liquidity is the unsung hero of investing. It doesn't make flashy headlines. Nobody brags about it at dinner parties, but it's what gives you control. It's the difference between being able to act on opportunities or being stuck in regret. The fund I was stuck in had just a fraction of assets under management and traded only a small amount each day. That's when I discovered these 4 funds that were operating at a completely different scale, big in size, with daily trading volumes that made buying or selling effortless. These 4 ETF do not only offered strong liquidity, they also struck a balance between growth, innovation, momentum, and income, each one correcting a mistake I had made in the past. Here's how each ETF plays its role. ETF number 1. VUG, the steady powerhouse that opened my eyes. There was a time when I completely ignored growth funds. My mindset was simple. They don't pay me anything right now, so why should I bother? But then I noticed something important. The investors who didn't chase the biggest or flashiest payouts and instead focused on growth had something I didn't. Flexibility. Their portfolios weren't weighed down by declining share prices. They weren't stuck holding yield traps with no way out. They had liquidity, appreciation, and staying power. That's when I came across VUG, the Vanguard Growth ETF. I'll never forget the day I tried to exit a little-known high-yield ETF during a market pullback. The spread was so wide, it felt like throwing funds into a black hole. That was the moment I made a promise to myself. Never again. Liquidity isn't optional, it's survival. And that's exactly what VUG offered. It's one of the most liquid growth ETF out there. You can move in and out without worrying about the trade itself becoming a loss. But liquidity is just the start. VUG holds the giants of innovation: Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Alphabet. These are not just companies, they're industry-shaping forces that drive markets and define progress. By tracking the CRSP, US Large Cap Growth Index, VUG focuses on businesses with strong growth characteristics, high efficiency, consistent expansion, and forward momentum. Over the last several years, VUG has consistently outpaced the broader market. And when you stretch the timeline even further, that gap becomes even more noticeable. It hasn't just kept up with the S&P 500, it has pulled ahead. Of course, growth funds like VUG come with swings. When interest rates were climbing, growth stocks felt the pressure more than most. That was the trade-off. You got innovation and momentum, but you also had to stomach sharper pullbacks. But now that rates have cooled, the environment feels very different. Growth names are finding breathing room again, and funds like VUG have been able to lean into that strength. It's a reminder that growth exposure isn't about avoiding volatility. It's about positioning yourself so that when conditions improve, you're ready to benefit. Not financial advice, still do your own research. The way I see it, the S&P 500 is the marathon runner. Steady, durable, built for endurance. VUG, on the other hand, is the sprinter. Fast, powerful, but more sensitive to the track conditions. And yet, if I had to pick a growth ETF to hold with confidence, VUG would be at the top. It showed me that I don't need to sacrifice quality to save on costs. Sometimes the strongest funds are also the simplest. Here is one of my best ETF picked. VUG gave me confidence in growth. But I still had that itch for something sharper. Something that didn't just follow innovation, but leaned into it with full conviction. That's when I found QQQM, the Invesco NASDAQ 100 ETF. Think of it this way. If VUG is like a reliable family car, smooth, steady, built for the long road, then QQQM is more like a sports car. Same destination, different ride. Faster when the road is clear, bumpier when it's not. Here's why it stood out. QQQM tracks the same NASDAQ 100 index that its older sibling QQQ does. The difference is that QQQM was designed for long-term investors with slightly lower costs. It's like getting the same premium seat, but at a discount. Inside QQQM, you'll find the giants of innovation. Companies driving cloud computing, artificial intelligence, e-commerce, semiconductors, and digital platforms. Like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Amazon. The names that come up again and again whenever the conversation turns to technology shaping the future. But here's the double-edged sword, that concentration cuts both ways. When these tech and innovation leaders rise, QQQM can run ahead of the broader market. But when they stumble, QQQM feels the pain harder than something more diversified like VUG or an S&P 500 fund. And that's really the lesson QQQM taught me. Innovation is powerful, but it isn't smooth. It comes in bursts, surges of excitement followed by stretches of correction. If you can handle the volatility, QQQM offers a front row seat to some of the most transformative companies in the world. Not financial advice. For me, it became less about trying to pick which single company would dominate, and more about capturing the entire wave of innovation while keeping costs low and liquidity solid. One of the less talked about ETF, but one that deserves a closer look, is SPMO, the Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF. I named it the Momentum Machine. By the time I had VUG and QQQM in my corner, I felt like I had two reliable and strong engines of growth. But deep down, I wondered, what if there's a way to let the market itself decide who the winners are, instead of me guessing? That's when I came across SPMO. Here's what makes it different. Instead of holding every stock in the S&P 500, it filters for the ones showing the strongest momentum. In plain explanation, that means it loads up on the companies whose stock prices have been leading the charge, and it keeps rotating as new leaders emerge. The expense ratio is pretty cool at 0.13%. Momentum taught me to change the way I looked at investing. Instead of hoping a struggling stock would bounce back someday, I started focusing on what was already working, and SPMO does that automatically. Here's the beauty of it. When a company like Nvidia or Tesla is riding a huge wave, SPMO doesn't just hold it. It gives it more weight than the plain S&P 500 does. When trends shift, the fund adapts. It's like having an investing strategy that constantly looks in the mirror and asks, what's working right now? But I also learned the flip side. Momentum is powerful when markets are trending, but it can get tossed around when things turn sideways. In 2022, for example, the market couldn't pick a clear direction, and SPMO kept rotating in and out of different sectors like a compass spinning in a storm. That's the trade-off. Adaptability comes with a little turbulence. Liquidity isn't a problem here. SPMO manages a large pool of assets and trades actively, so investors don't run into the liquidity problems that can happen with smaller funds. Not a recommendation. Always do your own research. What SPMO taught me is simple. Sometimes the smartest move isn't to concentrate on the underdog or try to predict the future. It's to ride with the winners while they're winning and have a system in place that knows when to move on. One of my favorite ETF, but it doesn't get the attention it deserves, is ULTY. I named it the Income Innovator. After getting burned by yield traps, I promised myself I'd never chase flashy payouts again. But the more I learned, the more I realized something important. Growth is exciting, yes, but steady income is what calms the storm. It's what keeps you invested when the market feels like it's turning against you. That's when I discovered ULTY, the YieldMax Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. The expense ratio is higher than most funds we've talked about, but here's why ULTY isn't just holding a basket of stocks and calling it a day. It's running a refined option income strategy that requires constant management and adjustments. This is an actively managed fund designed to generate weekly income distributions. Here's how ULTY actually works. Here's the simple picture. ULTY combines ownership of large US stocks with covered calls and synthetic option overlays. Think of it like renting out your stocks. You still have exposure to them, but you're also collecting option premiums on top, which turn into cash flow. That's how the fund aims to deliver its strong weekly income. Some of this income may be classified as return of capital, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's something to understand. It means not all of the payout is pure profit. Some of it may come from giving back part of the fund's base value. But like everything in investing, there's no free lunch. Here's the catch with ULTY. Your upside is capped. If the stocks inside ULTY suddenly take off, the option strategy limits how much of that growth we capture. Your downside is real. If those same stocks fall, ULTY still feels the pain, even though the option income might soften the blow. Distributions can erode net asset value. Over time, heavy use of options plus return of capital can weigh on the share price. In other words, ULTY won't behave like QQQM or VOO during a strong bull run. It's not designed for explosive growth. Instead, it's built for strong income flow and a smoother ride. With growing assets and moderate daily trading volume, ULTY offers enough liquidity for most individual investors. It won't trade as heavily as mega funds like SPY, but it's accessible without worrying about being traded like in thinly traded ETF. Who should consider ULTY? ULTY works as a stabilizer in a portfolio. It's not for investors seeking maximum growth, but for those who want current income generation, lower volatility than pure equity exposure, a hedge against pure growth strategies, diversification from traditional dividend stocks. The high expense ratio reflects the complexity of managing an options-based strategy. Unlike passive index funds, ULTY requires active options management, strike price selection, and continuous portfolio monitoring. Compared to the S&P 500, ULTY trades growth potential for income and stability. It's less about compounding long-term wealth and more about generating current income flow with equity exposure. ULTY taught me that yield doesn't have to be a trap if it's generated through legitimate strategies rather than unsustainable business models. This is not a recommendation or financial advice, just my personal opinion. Here's how I personally use these 4 ETF in my portfolio. Core Growth Foundation. VOO gives me broad, diversified growth exposure with very low fees and excellent liquidity. It's the base layer, the part of my portfolio I never worry about. QQQM act as the innovation amplifier. It also adds concentrated tech exposure for those times when innovation and large cap technology are leading the market. I size this position according to market conditions and, more importantly, my own risk comfort. SPMO act the tactical momentum. It captures current trends that I might miss if I only stuck to static allocations. When momentum works, it enhances performance. And because it's reasonably liquid, I can adjust or reduce my exposure when conditions shift. ULTY provides regular income distributions and helps smooth volatility across the portfolio. For me, it works as a buffer against the ups and downs of pure growth allocations. This isn't a recommendation. It's just an example of how I balance growth, innovation, momentum, and income, while always paying attention to liquidity and costs, the 5 questions that changed my investing. Back when I was chasing yields blindly, I thought I was being clever. In reality, I was just taking unnecessary risks. Today, before I invest in any ETF, I slow down and ask myself 5 key questions. 1. Can I exit easily when I need to? 2. What fees am I paying for this? 3. How does it compare to the S&P 500? 4. What specific risk am I taking? 5. How does it fit into my bigger plan? These questions turned my portfolio from yield-chasing mistakes into something more balanced and sustainable. In conclusion, wealth isn't built on chasing yields or hot trends. It's built on choosing quality, staying liquid, keeping costs low, and letting compounding do the work. VOO taught me growth doesn't need high fees. QQQM showed me innovation can pay off if I respect the risk. SPMO reminded me to follow strength instead of fighting it. ULTY proved income strategies can work when structured carefully. And the most important lesson? The best portfolio is the one you can actually stick with. Consistency beats perfection. Like I promised at the beginning of the video, this is something I believe you won't want to miss. It's a video where I break down another strategy I've personally tested, one that builds on everything we just talked about and takes it even further. You'll see how it fits into a long-term plan and why it could change everything for you. Go check it out. I'll see you there.